How would we evolve to live on Venus? Welcome to True Terror. With temperatures of 475 degrees and sulfuric acid rain, your human skin would melt like wax in seconds. To survive, you would cease to be made of flesh. Your body would have to evolve a shell of biological ceramic and heavy metals. You would be a living crust, hard and gray, resembling a rock with legs. To withstand acid corrosion, forget about your face. Your eyes couldn't withstand the heat. Instead, you would be faceless, having only thermal slits to sense the heat, like a blind viper. And to breathe, your mouth would turn into an organic gas mask. You would develop moist, spongy filters hanging from your throat to trap the sulfur before it burns your lungs. You would be a blind golem with stone skin and a filtering throat. How would we evolve? What would you look like if you lived on a rogue planet? An orphan world drifting through space in eternal darkness with no sun to light you. Your body would change in terrifying ways. First, your skin would lose all its color. With no UV rays to protect against, melanin becomes useless. You'd be pale white, almost translucent, like a ghost made of flesh and bone. But the worst change would happen to your face. Your eyes, useless in total darkness, would wither away. Skin would grow over your empty eye sockets, leaving you like a faceless monster. To avoid crashing into things, you'd develop gigantic mobile ears. You'd use echolocation, shouting into the darkness to see with sound, just like a human bat. You'd be a pale, blind, big-eared specter. Tag that big-eared friend who doesn't need eyes to know where you are.
If you pick yep.
What would you look like if Earth had 10 times more gravity? If you landed today, your own bones would shatter like toothpicks under your weight. Your heart would collapse trying to pump blood upward. To survive, evolution would have to turn you into a living tank. First, you would shrink. You'd be less than a meter tall to keep gravity from crushing you when you fall. Your legs would stop being long and slender. They would turn into massive columns, thick like tree trunks, with no visible knees. Say goodbye to your neck. It's the weakest point, so your head would sink directly into your armored shoulders. And your heart would be monstrous. It would take up almost your entire chest to have the hydraulic power needed to pump blood in that hell. You would be a compact cube of flesh, indestructible and dwarf-like.
What happens if you fall into quicksand? Second one, you step on what looks like dry ground. Suddenly the earth turns into a thick soup. You drop down to your knees instantly. Ground swallows your feet whole and it feels heavy. Minute one, your instinct is to thrash and kick. This is a fatal mistake. The vibration forces the water out of the sand mixture. Mud hardens like instant cement around your ankles. Minute 5, it feels like a giant snake squeezing your legs. To pull just one foot out now, you would need the strength to lift a medium-sized car. You are locked in place. Hour 1, you realize you won't sink under completely. Humans float in quicksand, but you are trapped. The real horror begins as the tide rises or the hot sun starts to cook you alive. But what would you look like if you lived on Titan, Saturn's largest moon, at 180 degrees below 0 Celsius? To survive, you would have to transform into an abomination of pure fat. You'd develop a 6-inch layer of blubber under your skin to avoid freezing to death. Goodbye waist, goodbye neck. Yeah, you'd be a round mass, resembling a giant seal walking on 2 legs. But the real horror is in your face. The air is so frigid that breathing it would burst your lungs. Your nose would have to grow and hang down, like a flaccid giant trunk to warm the air. And since there's almost no light, your eyes would atrophy. Instead, your face would be covered in sensitive, vibrating whiskers to see in the dark. You would be a blind, round ball of fat with a snout and long whiskers. Tag your friend who is already halfway through this strange evolution.